Should probably touch on this, but this Lux ban is actually quite relevant because let's not forget back in Lille, Giants were penalized for turning up late by having 2 of their bans removed. Now, the single ban that they went for there, where obviously it means everything, was Lux. Yeah, so they've removed that. What it does mean Anivia is still available. Anivia was actually played in that very same game, and Froggen was playing incredibly aggressive in that particular matchup, not playing sort of the farm up to 6 items, then pick fights. Over on the other side, Evil Geniuses have removed Kha'Zix, Kassadin, and Elise. That Elise is actually targeted at Morden, who has been running Elise in the jungle a number of times this season. And, of course, we'll see what they decide to play with. First pick for Exterminari was Twisted Fate straight out the gate. There was no moment's hesitation with that, and that's a very good pick indeed. But as first pick, that's what really kind of throws me off on this one. We've seen that Fizz, the good old Fishman, has been a very strong counter to Twisted Fate in the games we've seen. So maybe we'll see that pulled out by Froggen in this one. But the things that we definitely know for EG is that Shen picked up here most likely for Wicked and Leona for Crepo. Now, Leona obviously has had the Thresh banned against him this time, but yesterday we saw against Fnatic how good his Leona is, until his teammates, you know, throw the opposition out of those ultimates. I absolutely loved Crepo's Leona yesterday. He landed every single ability that he needed to. He comboed the CC perfectly, and you've got great powers of initiation here just from Shen and Leona alone. I was about to say this, but Kennen was left open, so Kennen is locked in. So is Zyra, definitely another high, high priority pick for the Giants. They're leaving their top laner open for counter pick, and I'd like to see who they want to run out there in terms of what's left to play. But quick fires on these picks for both teams. Yeah, and EG, for me, got a very comfortable team here. There's a Fiddlesticks, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the choice coming into this one. Zyra is there as well, though. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, first of all, Volibear, that's Snoopy going back to yesterday's jungler. Yellow Peak going for Varus. So that's a very good combination. The Chain of Corruption into Solar Flare is extremely, extremely powerful for them. What they are going to have to deal with, though, is the CC that Kennen and Zyra are both going to offer, because Zyra has been locked in. So we know that's going to be a Kennen-Zyra combo lane, most likely, because Extra's probably going to run Twisted Fate, which he has done a number of times this season already. It's going to be a battle of crowd control and who can land this more effectively, because there is such an immense amount of CC from both of these squads right now. And with Rumble being locked in, we've seen the combo of Rumble and Leona doing incredibly well, comboing all that damage and getting the Equalizer to really burn through HP. Remember that this is 3.5 where the Equalizer has changed. It doesn't have that initial burst, but the damage per second is significantly higher. Yeah, the burn that you get from being on top of the Equalizer is very strong. Final pick actually coming out for Evil Geniuses was Ahri, so that's going to be the choice here from. Obviously, Anivia was left open, didn't want to go with that here against Twisted Fate. I thought maybe we could see a Fizz after those Twisted Fate matchups against Fizz that we've seen in the past couple of weeks, but sadly, no Fish jokes today. No, not this time. It's going to be Fox jokes instead from Ahri. Yeah, we'll have to see this. This is a wise choice from Froggen because of the mobility that Ahri offers with her ultimate. She's going to be able to stay out of range, jump out of the Cataclysm, jump off of the Equalizer, get out of range of the Slicing Maelstrom, everything that Giants can. And now his Leona, this should be his second time this season if I recall correctly. So a lot of time spent on a number of different picks. And exactly like I said, with Comfort Champions, it's going to come down to positioning and to landing those skill shots, because there's a lot of kill potential from both of these squads. So here we go then, in-game with Giants versus Evil Geniuses. Our first game here of day 2 of week 9 of the European LCS. Giants starting on the blue side, Evil G on the red team. That's a new one. We know Evil Geniuses as a team which extensively researched level 1, and let's see if they've done it here against Giants. They managed to push Snoopy out a little bit. Defensive start there from EG. Giants are doing something that they tend to do fairly often. They stack up, get that somewhat aggressive ward down, and then return to their lanes to play it out safely. What you can see from the positioning on the map is it does look like we're going to have those 2v1 swaps with both AD carries and support going up in the top lane. And you can see that already because they're setting up closely. Jims throws the little shuriken through the wall, and Crepo is immediately tagged with it. So they know he's there, but there's no vision just yet. And it's just a ping battle more than anything right now. A very intense, time at the start of this one from both sides. As you see, Evil Genius is just backing away. Giants aren't going to be backing away from this one, though. They are going to go up to that bush just behind the red buff. Now, there is an EG ward down here in this corner bush, which is going to spot Giants' position now. And we'll see if they actually rotate away from the bottom side with Ahri and Shen and try and pick something up here. It depends how long Giants stick around, because Extra is prepping the card. They want to go
for the steal. Froggen is already starting to come up and around, so they may collapse on them 4 versus 3. Krepo's going in. Can he get some stuns down?
They're going to go for this one. Extermin having to flash already, but look how low he's taken. Krepo going to get the first kill here, and now they're moving in towards Jimbo. Can they actually lock him down here, though, as the grasping roots come across, range out before they tie down Froggen, who will get some extra damage over Jimbones. But a great start again from Evil Geniuses, and they go instantly over the other side and try and take away that blue buff.
So we can see that Babetta set up around the side. Jims is going very aggressive as he's got some support now from Morden. This is going to be a 3 versus 3, and it looks like Giants want the fight.
Yeah, Morden going in for this one. Actually, the smite there will pick up the blue buff as Krepo going very, very low. One more hit should do it. Morden will pick that one up, but he has to flash away. There's a hail of arrows coming in, but Betta's still chasing around. They land the grasping root onto Yellow P, but Jimbones goes very low. He will cleanse away there, and Extermin is taken down Yellow Pete. Snoopy now going to get knocked up. There's the stun card. Have they got the damage to finish off? Yes, Babetta picks up the kill. What is going on here? 3 minutes in, 4 kills. Giants 3-1 up.
Giants just turned that around completely, and the number of hit points on them was so incredibly low. The cleanse saved Jimbo's life. End of story. He cleansed off that ignite, got away to safety. Then Morden comes in and lands the knockup through the wall, slowing Snoopy down, and he managed to avoid the auto attack damage and wasn't able to, didn't go down in that engagement. So a good turnaround. Evil Genius is playing a tiny bit overconfident. They weren't expecting that fight, and that's what cost them their lives.
Yeah, and we talked about the whole reactionary play there from EG when they had that ward on the red buff, which was really nicely done from them. But Giants, on the other side, did exactly that over by their blue buff, and they came away with a good advantage from that one. 1,000 gold here, not even 4 minutes in.
And something that we haven't touched on just yet, if we go to the top lane, you'll see that Babetta, because he picked up the kill, he's got the red buff. So this is a red buff support Zyra with 575 range, is going to be able to just chunk down Varus and just continually get that true damage tick over and over and over. And it's, Zyra's one of the most harassy supports in the game, and with red buff, it's even more powerful.
Surprised that Morden went over to red buff there, considering the fact that he's got the red buff on and his support's got a red buff on, so they knew it wasn't there at the end of the day anyway, but he's still quite happily taking away a little bit more of the enemy jungle here, and we'll see what effect Babetta can have. If we think back to yesterday's game against Dragonborns, they had a real tough time, the AD carry and support of Jimbones and Babetta against Hosan and Moveit's aggression. This time around, though, they're the ones with the advantage there, as Froggen going very, very deep onto Extermin, going to get stunned up here. The wild card's actually missing, and the push comes in onto the top as well. Babetta taking a lot of damage. Krepo going to be forced away, and that red buff keeping him slowed right down. Can they finish off here now? Jimbone's the one taking damage, and in the end, the grasping root's pushing around. Yellow Pete's still playing aggressive, but they can't finish off.
Really big mistake there from Giants in the mid lane. That's a flash from Froggen.
Yeah, flashes in there, actually missing the charm on towards Extermin, which probably would have got him the kill there if that would have ended up landing. But nicely done either way. Morden coming into middle, and a very hectic first 5 minutes of a match.
And definitely something that's exciting to watch. In that top lane, the reason no kill actually happened, Krepo is still very, very tanky with Leona, and the fact that Jimbones and Babetta were trying to focus the support. Yellow Pete stood there the entire time just bashing away on Kennen, landing auto attack after auto attack and simply going, well, if you focus the support, you're always going to lose that trade. You need to get the damage dealer, you need to get the threat, not the supports.
Yeah, and actually, the first blood allowed Krepo there to pick up that ruby crystal as well, so that's something that really helps keep him alive in that fight. Now you see the importance of that first blood. Froggen just gone home as well. He's picked up himself a ward. Double Doran's ring coming into lane as well, so he's looking for that early game dominance over Exter.
And he's already got a good advantage built up with the CS, and he's playing very aggressive in that mid lane. Exter's decided to go for that KG's like he picked, so he's going to be generating gold. I wonder if he's going to upgrade that to a very quick Twin Shadows, which is something we've seen a number of Twisted Fates do this season. They, Destiny in, pop the ghosts, land the gold card, and then pick up kills. And when you look at all the damage and CC from the rest of his solo laners, that is a very, very scary combination.
Well, he is up at level 4 right now, and as I say that, he hits level 5, and so not too far away of his real tough point in the game when he hits that level 6, gets the Destiny, and he's able to make impacts across the map. Right now, though, Giants still holding on to that 1,000 gold lead. Actually, it's ticking just above 1,000, maybe 1,100 at this point. If you have a look down at the early CS here and how that's going, as we are going to see not quite a grasping route land onto Yellow Pete. So we can go back to the CS here. The solo laners, Rumble, Shen, they're in the bottom, of course, of this one. They're bang even right now. Mid lane, though, is where the real difference is. There's actually Crepo going to go in towards Jimbones. Again, we see that he has to use that cleanse to get away from Crepo, and that's the danger of Leona. When he presses go, he's going to go very aggressive as Froggen now going in towards Exterminate. One more push. The Ignite is burning away, and Froggen is going to get the kill, but will he get away here from Morden? He's got hardly any life left. Morden, just narrowly missing that charm there, but he's going to see Wicked go straight in. The Ignite is burning away. Pots are running for Morden. He will just about stay alive.
What a dramatic play there. Froggen going so deep under the tower. That Stand United shield literally was the reason he saved. They've caught Jims again.
He's got no cleanse this time around, but a great grasping roots onto Yellow Pete will stop the initial pressure coming in from that backside. Jimbone survives.
He manages to get away, but now if we look to the bottom lane, Wicked is sneaking around behind Snoopy. If Samux doesn't get the recall, he's in a little bit of trouble. The bear wants the Yordle.
Wow, again, a great flash. We saw yesterday from Gambit some clutch micro play coming out of that. Was similar stuff there. Very much a last split-second decision to get that flash. Great timing out of Samux, definitely saving his life in that one. We are now, of course, at 3-2 in kills. Didn't think I'd be saying this about 6 months ago in an EG game.
Not at all, but it's great to see that Evil Geniuses have now started to ramp up that aggressive play, and more importantly, they're actually making it stick. That play in the middle lane, Froggen, started at the moment that Wicked hit 6. He had his Stand United available, carried on fighting, and thanks to that, Stand United shield, he got the kill and got away safely. They almost picked up a second kill thanks to that play as well. So he's 1-0-0, a 20 CS lead over his lane opponent, and now with that blasting one, he's really looking to stamp an authority on that lane.
So pressure from Giants in the top lane on towards the turret. Crepo just above half HP. Morden again going to look to come inside of this middle area, but Froggen, now he's got that ultimate up. Those 3 charges that you get are enough to make up massive amounts of ground, even with his flash down.
Yes, and if he manages to time it correctly, once those minions die, he'll get a lot of the damage onto his lane opponent as well. You can still see Morden is sniffing around, but I've noticed that with Wicked going back, his assistant in CS, he's actually picked up a Phage as his first item. So it's a slightly different pickup to what we usually see out of Shen's, and they've gone aggressive.
Here we go, Chain of Corruption. He's down another great grasping roots, but is it going to be enough here? Jimbone's super low, and EG don't want to follow that one up. They wanted to alleviate the pressure on their turret there. Jimbone's again managing just to get away, using the flash this time around. And he's got a lot of lives here, Jimbones.
Yeah, that's so true. Kennen, I've always called him the Electro Hamster. Maybe he needs to be an Electro Kitty Cat with 9 lives in that top lane. Gets away safely, but that's purely because Crepo just missed the Zenith Blade thanks to the flash. He had a really good engage. He actually flashed into the Q stun, the Shield of Daybreak, and then tried to follow it up with the Zenith, but obviously wasn't anticipating the angle of Jimbone's flash to safety and wasn't able to get the kill. But a good play nevertheless, and an aggressive play actually out of that duo lane.
Yeah, always nice to see as both middle players now have that blue buff. And that will mean that they can get more involved. Exterminate's level 7 now. We should point that out. Destiny is available to him, but where is he going to be pushing in? This top lane, we're seeing his AD carrying support now coming back into the lane, so they're probably going to try and freeze that out a little bit if Extermin wants to get involved there.
So what you can actually see now in terms of Jimbones and Babette up in the top lane, they were playing very, very aggressive and shoving that lane down. They were actually playing super aggressive. Now that the Twisted Fate is Destiny, they want their opponents to push towards them to set them up for kills. I don't know when Exter's going to decide to do it because of Froggen's early build and ability power. He's got very good wave clear and can force Twisted Fate to either lose CS or obviously, stay there and farm. Evil Geniuses were trying to set up here for a dragon, but they realized there's too many members missing. They had no idea where Twisted Fate was, no idea where Jarvan was, and at the time, they couldn't see Rumble on the map either. They decided to back away, but they've got a lot of vision, and that's going to be the next objective if they can get a kill advantage.
Yeah, I think they saw that ward come down from Giants over the top of the Dragon Pit. Wicked going to actually lose this tower here. You did see the lane switch came in after the last back out of that EG top lane, the AD carry and support lane.
So they swapped them around. I wonder if that's because Wicked is struggling a little bit against Rumble. Not necessarily in the best matchup, and they've caught Extra.
Yeah, they've managed to land in there, and the charm can Froggen get through it. That's a lot of damage. Ignite is burning. They do get the kill. Froggen going to be locked
Stand
up
United.
here, but here comes Shen with that Stand United. And I tell you what, I think they could have turned that around there, maybe got a kill. Wicked had the Ignite available.
They definitely could have, but while that's going on in the top lane, they know they pulled Shen away. Snoopy's doing the best he can to defend, and Jimbones and Bebeta are just push at the moment. Wicked is swinging around to try and help out. He's about to catch Zyra out, and luckily that ward will give them vision, and they're going to back away.
Yeah, nice little push as a reaction to that one from Giants. Having a tough time, and we talked about that from Froggen. Double Doran's ring at the start indicated that he was going to be going very, very deep and aggressive to try and take down this Twisted Fate. The Twin Shadows was picked up, as you predicted earlier on, so once he gets involved around the map, which honestly he's level 8 now, I'd kind of expected to see that a little bit more up until this point, but when he finally does, that Twin Shadows is going to be a big impact on the game.
They were thinking about going aggressive there onto Snoopy. The Slicing Maelstrom is still up for Jimbones. You could see they got him stunned and locked up, but decided against the dive. They know Stand United is down, so ideally they want to be picking a battle in that window of opportunity. It's around about a 200-second cooldown, so that's a long time for that Stand United to be down, but it's also their window of safety where they know if the 2v1 is going to be an actual 2v1, they get a lot of free damage onto Wicked.
And Bebeta landing a lot of those grasping roots. Some clutch ones so far. It's down in the bottom lane. Actually, Rumble going to be in a lot of trouble. And, well, he's just melted from that one. The CC chained together. As we are going to see Extermin once again taking a lot of damage. Actually, it was Twin Shadows that he threw out there that stopped Froggen going the extra leap through.
Great play in the bottom. They just completely insta-gib Rubble, landing the CC chain together, Solar Flare, Ignite, chain, like just everything. And they just destroyed him. Froggen once again winning that 1v1. And this is something we haven't actually seen Froggen do all too often this season, completely dominating his lane opponent. 114 CS with the bottom tower going down, or the middle tower going down, as well as that kill in bottom. It just means a free dragon for Evil Geniuses. They don't necessarily have the vision that they need, but it's safe because there's no one from Giants to defend it.
That brings EG right back level here in terms of gold, but Bebeta and Jimbones still putting pressure down here onto this top lane, and Wicked knows that someone's going to have to come help him out here if he's to hold on to this one. Looks like Volibear will be headed north here on the map as Wicked misses the taunt there on towards Jimbones, which could have slowed down the rate at which they're pushing this one. Volibear is coming in, and that ward that we saw from Bebeta in the jungle earlier on gives a very early sign when someone comes up to help. They're going to see that coming in.
This is exactly what they were doing when they were pushing the top lane earlier during the laning phase. They had full vision of the river and the tri-bush. They knew everybody that was coming in, and they've got enough counter-initiates to back away to safety. So it was a very, very good play. Now, the two members of Giants are just going to try push down this bottom tower. Yellow Pete may get there in time to pick up some CS, but it does look like that tower will go down relatively soon. Yellow Pete has drunk that elixir of fortitude, which he's had from much earlier in the game. He used that when they picked up the kill on Rumble, so he's got that temporary power boost for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, Blade of the Ruin King added in for both of the AD carries at this stage of the game as well. We talked about Wicked Phage being picked up now. We see the Haunting Guys as the Solar Flare comes down onto Samax, but in the end they don't follow on.
No, not at all. Now, Solar Flare's on a relatively short cooldown, so it's not the end of the world if you throw that out. It's about a minute and a half or so before it'll be up and available again. And it's something that if you are playing Leona, make sure you try it. Set it up. If you get a good stun, you can follow it up with the rest of the CC and pick up some kills, especially when you've got Varus who's got the percentage HP damage.
Yeah, definitely a CC train that a Leona Varus has there. You're not going to get out of it, even if you've got a cleanse, which is the sad thing at level 6. And look at Froggen here, going very aggressive on towards Jimbones. Actually goes back in there right at the last second. The Slicing Maelstrom finished off. There is a flash taunt, and Bebeta is in all kinds of trouble now. Surely going to be finished off. He lands a Grasping Root. Won't be enough. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, ironically, we see Morden coming in. Twisted Fate going to get involved as well. So forget bottom as Froggen gets shut down by Jimbones. He came back in afterwards. In the bottom lane, actually, Samax soaked down Crepo, but Yellow Pete picked up the kill onto Samax as well. So 2 kills for 2 at the end of the day. Evil Genius is pushing the bottom lane, while Giants pushing the mid lane. Morden eats a taunt and a couple of turret hits to slow down that pressure. But good Destiny usage from Extra. It's the first time that we've actually seen him use his ultimate, and he did manage to pick up a kill, so he'll need to continue doing that
as this matchup continues. Advantage Evil Geniuses because they got the second tower, whereas Giants did not.
Push that lane right out as well, but both Snoopy and Yellow Pete decided not to go any further with that. Let's have a look at some of the item pickups here, because Ari has just finished that Abyssal Scepter.
So it's obviously magic resistance to help out against the likes of Zyra, as well as Twisted Fate, as well as Rumble, and obviously the benefit of removing that magic resistance of your opponent adds all of that extra damage. The one thing that we need to keep a very close eye on is the synchronized swimming team of Froggen and Wicked, because every single time their ultimates are up and available, they dive onto the same target. Now, Crepo is trying to jump in here behind Cannon. Jimbones has some ultimates of, has his Lightning Rush available in the second and Cleanse, so I don't expect him to go down, but he's decided to recall. He may get caught.
Yeah, there's a ward down from Froggen. They're going to go in here for Jimbones. Can he escape the bear? No, he gets flung back. Charm will actually miss that, but they clean up a kill. An easy 3-on-1 there for EG, but good reactionary play.
There was no vision in the river there, so Jimbones had no idea that Crepo was coming up from the river to set that one up. He thought he had time to recall away from Ari, but obviously had no indication that Crepo's Leona was there to pick up the kill. So two members of Giants now trying to defend this top turret, and wisely EG now with no vision of the tri-bush area and the blue bush area decide, let's not stick around, we could be collapsed upon.
Trinity Force finish there as the first item for Wicked as well, so he's going full on that one. We talked to him, talked about the fact that, you know, early on in the season he earned that old Brickhead nickname for building a ridiculously tanky Shen. And now on this time, going to be looking to make a bit more of an impact in terms of kills in this game as well with that build. So Yellow Pete and Crepo are again headed up towards his top side, so it looks like they want to get rid of that final outer turret that stands for the Giants.
Good thinking though from Giants. They're aware of this aggression and they've actually sent numbers to meet the wave literally the second it gets within range of the tower. So they'll hold that one off for a little bit longer. And the fact that Wicked has gone for that Trinity Force Shen tells you he wants to be a damage threat. He's not happy playing tank and playing split pusher. He wants to be somebody that Giants need to be afraid of, because albeit he doesn't have burst or consistent damage like an AD, if you give him enough time in a fight, he will chunk you down with that passive and those Vorpal blades of his. So, you know, very good pickup. It synergizes very well with his entire kit, you know, the HP, the movement speed, attack speed, etc., etc. Right now, though, Giants, they've pushed out that wave. They're holding this top lane turret. They don't know that there's a pink ward in that bush, so Evil Geniuses have full vision of their opponents. We do see that Destiny is available for Exeter, as is Stand United for Wicked. So if a fight happens, you could immediately have those two champions joining the party to play.
So many wards down on this top side of the map as well. And if you look at Giants, you have to give them some real big credit for their warding right now. Look at it. They've literally got wards across the entire map. One's just timed out in the south side of the river there, but they've got a lot of vision in place right now. And we talked about the fact that when they're in the lead, they can do very well. It's when they're behind that they seem to struggle for ideas and, you know, how to turn that game back in their favor. Right now, it looks like they're going to set up a counter trap with Morden waiting. Morden may be looking to try get the hop over the wall into a slam dunk cataclysm. We see the Blade of the Ruined Kings come down. Here's the fight. There we go. Zyra going to get the knock-up. Chain of Corruption comes down for Yellow Pete. Is going aggressive here on towards Jimbones, and both teams kind of half in, half out. Should we go? Should we not? And in the end, they decide to back away. But Extermin is headed towards his top lane, which tells me he might get that Destiny in, and they may try and follow up. Now, Stand United is still available, so if anybody gets caught up by a Grasping Roots, you can expect that Destiny coming in. The entire time that Exeter was away, though, allowed Froggen to carry on pushing this mid lane. So he's got down to the inner turret, and he's got a big CS advantage thanks to that early advantage that he picked up. The early ability power and wave clearing just made Exeter really have to play super defensive. Yeah, and his Destiny's not really had the impact. I think we can safely say that, you know, other Twisted Fates up until now, which have really won games, have had, you know, the Xpeke's Twisted Fates, the Froggen Twisted Fate from yesterday even. Yeah. Now, we saw how often they were moving around the map, and that's where Twisted Fate excels, you know, that's the point of Twisted Fate almost, is to be a third man in a lane to really help out when it comes to ganks, and that's just not quite happened this time around for Extermin. However, Jimbones and Mabetta are once again pushing the top lane, and they will take the inner turret. So very nicely done, but the Solar Flare lands instantly cleansed by Jimbones. He's going to manage to get away, but summon a spell blown. And you're talking about the Twisted Fate usage. It's up to each individual player to change the destiny of the game with the use of that ultimate. Oh. I can groan at that one.
But what we do see, thanks to the tower advantage and some, early game pressure, that initial kill lead that the Giants built up for themselves, they do still have a 2,000 gold advantage. It may not feel like they're in the lead as far as gold is concerned, but it's because they're not making the plays. They're not the ones being very aggressive. They're not the ones picking the fights, as it were. But they are ahead in gold, and that is sort of what matters right now.
So, Dragon being started here by Evil Geniuses. There's no Destiny. There's no vision. I was just about to save them doing that, and Destiny is going to get popped. That will reveal the entire EG team.
So we'll see right now, Giants are coming in here. They decide not to use any of their ultimates and effectively don't even challenge for that one as the EG ward wears out. But the rest of Giants, they're just going to group up and take a free tower. They'll be happy with this trade.
Now, this zoning is very, very good from Giants. They knew that Evil Geniuses had gone bottom side. They know that they've got positional advantage on this middle lane, and as such, you're going to use it to take down a second inner turret of the game here. This is a great call from them.
This is something that you almost never see from Evil Geniuses, giving up 2 map objectives like that simply because of poor positioning. Now we see the rest of Giants. They're stacked up as 5 up here in the top lane tower. That was Blade of the Ruined King actually used from Kennen. They want to carry on because Froggen's not here.
Froggen's not here. He was pushing that bottom lane. It's going to be recalling back in, and as soon as Giants realize that he's no longer pushing this bottom lane, they will back away. And I have to credit Giants here on the way that they're playing this game. They look very, very coordinated.
That was a great, great play, and it was exactly like you said. Thanks to the vision, thanks to the zoning of being 5-man stack above the Dragon, they knew that they had the speed to rush that middle lane, take both of those towers in exchange for a Drake. That's a trade that any team will take any day of the week. And very, very crucially, before that build-up, the Lich Bane was completed for Twisted Fate. So he's got a very nice damage spike. He's got that additional movement speed, and obviously going to carry on running. I also want to touch that Samax has got his Rylai's Crystal Scepter. So the slow from the Equalizer is obviously going to be insurmountable as well.
Now, what are EG going to play with the cards that they've got right now? It looks like a mid-push may be the option that they're going to go for. Giants starting to rotate back around from the blue buff that they've just taken to try and defend this inner turret. Kennen off on the top side, actually. And will he get involved? Actually, we are going to see the Zenith Blade land. There's a Chain of Corruption coming in. Zyra ulti is going to knock a lot of them up, but Froggen joins the fight from the side. Krepo has finally gone down, and Kennen stunning pretty much the entire team with this one. The action breaking off left and right as we are going to see Stan United used, but it won't channel through. Wicked going to fall here as well. What a fight for Giants. Can they get in on towards Froggen, though? Jim Bones is trying to chase him down. Extermin is there as well. He doesn't have much mana to work with, and you know that an Ahri with lots of health and lots of mana still could still turn around and do the damage. In the end, Froggen, one of only 2 of EG that survived.
Froggen was not there quickly enough, and Giants had the perfect opportunity to engage. They landed a lot of abilities together and managed to pick it up. Samax, he's picked the fight, though. He's
going to go right in here, but can he put enough damage down here onto Froggen? It looks like
yes,
Froggen now going to be on cooldowns. Giant, and the Samax says thank you very much for the kill and for the blue buff.
Rylai's Crystal Scepter held Froggen in place. He had no flash, he had no ultimate to dash away. So at the end of that, that's a 4-for-0 exchange, and Jim Bones playing incredibly brave at the front, just relying on that lightning rush to get to safety. But he does, and that's what's important. They pick up those kills, they pick up the CS, they defend the tower, and this is a big advantage for Giants right now.
A nice position for them to be in. 5,000 gold almost here. Here's the difference between these two. Jim Bones is significantly ahead here in the gold totals. Actually has got almost a 2,000 gold lead over his opposite number. As Samax here being chased down. Another great grasping roots coming out of Babetta. Now,
Babetta's Zyra is probably the reason that the Giants defeated Gambit, a couple of weeks ago. He is really, really, really good with that champion. He has good grasping roots, he has good ultimates. The previous team fight, I think he knocked up 3 members of Evil Geniuses and zoned out the 4th with just his ultimate alone. And it was comboed with everybody in a Cataclysm. So it just stacks on top of one another and gives you such great zone control. A massive pickup comes from that Jim Bones gold lead, which you mentioned. Infinity Edge completed and the makings of a Zeal. He's very close to having that wrapped up as well.
Yeah, I think you're very right there with Babetta, who's actually going to get hit here with pretty much everything from Crepo. They are going to lock him down, and just as we're praising him, he gets caught out. Just putting a ward down, guys, but they're going to push Froggen here at the bottom lane. Zhonya's will be used. He's going to be chased down here by Samux. Can he get the damage down onto Extermin? Wild cards come through. It's not going to matter, though. Samux gets the kill.
Now take a look at this. I believe Destiny has been used, so Exterminari knows where the rest of Evil Geniuses are. They sniff that gank coming. They trade 1 for 1, and you have to feel if you're going to trade a support for a mid laner, you'll be happy with that trade at the end of the day. But Froggen almost picked up a kill there in that 2v1 engagement. Exter went very, very low indeed, and it was only because of the Rylai's slow from Samux that Exter got away. Samux may have overstayed his welcome though, because Leona wants blood and is chasing the little Yordle down.
Well, here is Crepo coming in from the side. The question is, can Samux dodge everything? And, well, the answer is no to that one. Wicked coming in from the side. The rest of EG closing in. Samux goes down. And I don't think that was needed, actually, from Samux. I think he should have gone when when Extermin popped that Destiny, and they saw that they were coming down.
I completely agree with you. He's seen that Evil Geniuses were backing away, moving back up the river, so he felt he could stick around a little bit longer. Jims gets a couple of auto attacks onto the mid inhibitor turret, while Morden is pushing to the top one. But again, it's not really worth the gold that you give away in that kill. You can actually see by Froggen's positioning, he was like, can I go for this fight? Do I want to take this fight? But in the end, he decides to not go for that particular engagement and save his ultimate for the next big team fight.
In the meantime, Evil Genius is pushing down towards his bottom inner turret here with Crepo, Snoopy, and Yellow Pete there. That turret is going to be taken down. Yeah, nothing that Extermin could really do without, the risk of that Leona just pouncing on him and landing all that CC one after another, especially with the Chain of Corruption being available for Yellow Pete as well. So a nice little pickup from EG. They're still behind, though, by 2 turrets and 3,400 gold.
So Giants actually making a mistake of their own. They got pushed out of that bottom lane. They had their members all over the map in the middle and top and lost a turret completely for free. You can see by the stacking of Evil Geniuses for the most part in this bottom lane, or towards the bottom, they're almost getting ready for Dragon. Giants have the time for it, and they're here as a 5 as well. Now, Giants gave up the previous Drake in exchange for those 2 turrets, so let's see what Evil Geniuses decide to do, because it looks like Giants this time around want the objective.
Yeah, and that Dragon at this stage of the game not going to last very long. Finished off there with the Smite of Morden. Wicked is going to be pushing towards the outer turret here in that top lane, the final outer turret that stands here for Giants. I feel like I've said that about 20 minutes ago, to be honest. Well, they are finally going to be taking that one out, and I'm just wondering what Giants will decide to counter that with here.
Well, they're stacked fairly tightly towards this red buff area, and it looks like Samux is going to pick a fight now with Wicked. He's going to go in. You can see Destiny's been used, and take a look for the gold card.
Yeah, Wicked in a lot of trouble here. Actually, will dash away from that one. The gold card not quite in range to get the stun down. There's a flash from Wicked.
Twice.
And he's going to try and get away, but there's the harpoon landing. Wicked slow to a crawl. Another shadow dash. Is he going to get away? No, it's not. Samux finishes off.
Wicked did 2 things there. What I completely lost it. First of all, he shadow dashed out of range of the gold card. So the first time it couldn't happen. Then, as Exter got in range to land the gold card, he flashed out of it a second time. And if it wasn't for such a low cooldown on that spell, he may actually have gotten away from the 3rd effective hit of it. What it does mean now, though, is Giants have stacked up for Baron, and I wonder if EG can defend.
I'm wondering if they're even going to bother with this one. It is going very low as the Solar Flare does go down. The Baron's got 2,500 hit points left, but EG are going to engage in the fight, but Better goes down. Where are they going to go next? Cataclysm going to be used right in the middle of the fight here by Morden. There's a slicing Maelstrom, and it is doing exactly what it says on the tin, slicing through EG. Froggen going to fall down here at the end, and that is 5 kills for 3. A triple kill in the end for Extermin and the Baron pickup. What a play out of Giants.
They aced Evil Geniuses. The key members of the team, the carries, all have Baron buff remaining. They're going to barrel down this middle lane, and Brickett is going to have to channel his inner giant killer with those double giant belts, because he's defending against 3 giants.
Well, there are 3 of them coming. I see what you did there. Threw me off my game. As the turret does go down, let's get back into it, because Giants are not stopping here. They know that they've got a good amount of time. We're going to see the first inhibitor of the match go down. We saw Wicked just kind of posturing there to scare them away. Am I going to Shadow Dash you or am I not? In the end, Giants say, let's not even risk that happening to us. Let's back away. This must be a ton of gold for Jim Bones to spend when he goes home here. Extermin as well. Look at that, 2,300 for Jim Bones. 2 2.7 on Extermin. Rumble has actually, I think, just spent up there as well. Just had an elixir in, obviously got that. Leandris got the Crystal Scepter, got a needlessly large rod. There's another needlessly large rod picked up by Twist of Fate. The Phantom down to us, selected by Jim Bones there on Kennen. So Giants getting a huge spike from that last fight.
Yeah, the gold advantage they have right now is over 9,000. It's so high and so good. The one thing that plays into their favor is the fact that they've got this gold right now, right? What's going to end up happening is that Yellow Pete's going to start to outscale Jim Bones as we start getting into these next 5, 10, 15 minutes, because Kennen is an early to mid-game AD carry. He doesn't necessarily have that same really decimating impact in the super late game. He does have a Phantom Dancer completed above Yellow Pete, but it's going to be up to Evil Geniuses to stall long enough for Yellow Pete to balance out those damage numbers. Right now, 4 members of Giants are stacked in the top. They might be a bit overconfident because Samix isn't there.
Yeah, Morden actually taking a lot of damage here, but I say a lot of damage, a lot of abilities. The damage wasn't really there. He's going to go back in. Crepo quite low as they try and lock down Snoopy. Wicked going to go back in. There's the chain of corruption. Slicing Maelstrom comes down with the equalizer. They're going to try and lock down Yellow Pete. Can he get away? No. Double kill coming out for Jim Bones. Crepo going to fall as well. That's a triple for Kennen, and Jim Bones is going right into the base. He wants more from this one. He's forced Froggen away. Second inhibitor turret is down. The inhibitor itself is going to fall. Meanwhile, Jim Bones is hammering away on the first Nexus turret as Froggen comes out of the base with the home guard boots. That flies him into position, lands the charm onto Jim Bones. Now they try and focus down Snoopy here, right under the turret. Morden picks up that kill. Jim Bones is still dealing with Froggen up on the top side, and the Nexus is going to go down, and Giants pick up another vital victory against the top team, beating Evil Geniuses.